Open. Now, press it again, and it closes. How does that work? That's always bugged me. I've always tried to figure that out. I've always wondered how that works. It seems like you used all the energy to get it to come up and open. Where's that extra energy for the second button press to make it close? And I think I figured it out. Well, I know I figured it out. But let's talk about it real quick. I made a little Lego version here. And the way this works, let's start with the simplest part, which is the scissor arm mechanism that pretty much all umbrellas have. But this one's special because it has a little spring that actually keeps it so that it wants to close. That little spring you can actually see in the armatures of every one of the arms. You see these springs right there. So it wants to stay closed, but something's keeping it open. And what's keeping it open, as you can see here, is this leverage system here. And like all levers, you need a pivot point and then somewhere to apply the pressure. And what's applying downward pressure here is a spring-loaded tube inside of a tube mechanism. Okay, so the outer tube of the top part is the pivot for your arms. The inner part of the arm that's actually applying the pressure is attached to a long rod that runs through both tubes. So this is our fake spring here. Now that spring is really strong, much stronger than all of these little armature springs. And what's happening when you collapse the umbrella and you pressurize these two tubes inside of each other and push the spring against itself is you get two latching mechanisms actually happening. The bottom, the handle, has two things that latch. One is latching to the outer tube and the other is latching to the inner part of this long actuator arm. Both get locked in, so the whole umbrella stays compact. There's all this tension in this spring. When you press the button the first time, it lets go of the outer and upper tube, so one half of the spring. But this armature latch is still attached. So you have this action where the spring wants to pull the two tubes apart. That causes the umbrella to extend and push open the arm and fight against the springs of the arm because that inner spring is so strong. Now, all you have to do to collapse the arm is to release the armature, this armature, from the inner latch. That happens when you press the button the second time. It just lets go of that inner armature. And so now, even though it's extended, the inner armature is, floppy and gives way, so there's no more spring tension on the extension, and so the contraction springs pull the arm in. So that's it. It's just and then since the whole thing is extended, when you push the umbrella back together, you're not only loading the spring, but you're grabbing both of those latches again. You let go of the outer one, hold the inner one, you get that, let go of the inner one, it releases. Recompress, grab both latches, let go of the outer one, whoops, you get it. It opens that up. So yeah, I'm just, in awe of the design. It's really genius. If you wanted to see those latches in action, this handle is taken apart. And so when you push on this, it actually releases, let's see if I can show it, it actually releases the back side. So when I push this, it releases that sort of one-way latch. And that back side is releasing this part of the outer tube. You can see it's a series of tubes that contract and there's a spring in there. And so when I contract the whole thing, it will, this one's actually cracked. This person came in with issues, but it still holds. And so when I push this, it'll release that outer tube. So I'm going to do that right now. Let's just re-trigger it. Oh, sorry, there's another little issue with this particular umbrella. Gotta trigger that. But let it go. All right, and so now you want to see that inner armature release system. That's actually still being held down, and you can see it. This is a really clever thing. There's a little foot that you can see right in here, like a presser foot. This guy right there, and that is going to press down inside through a window that's sort of cut out in the metal. Okay, so it's gonna, there it is. This is a good way to look at it. There's that presser foot. It's gonna push down on this white thing, which is just the same situation here. It's just this. It's a white plastic version of this, where it's hooked onto the inner metal, and by pushing this down, it's gonna release that. It gets floppy, or sorry, it no longer holds one end of the hinge system, and it all collapses, and that inner armature gets to go back in and release itself. So anyway, coming back home to this whole system, this janky Lego system, that's how it works. You've got two tubes, two latches, two spring systems playing against each other, and it's all just releasing the outer spring, which causes it to expand, then releasing the inner spring, which lets it contract. Or releasing the inner armature, I should say. Okay, I don't know. That's a real load off my mind. Hope that was interesting. Maybe other people were wondering how that worked. You can walk around, relax now that you know that. Thanks for watching.